I am speaking to you today from the United States of America, but 21 years ago, I was in Stockholm, listening to your Prime Minister, Mr. Göran Persson, as he welcomed us participants to the International Forum on the Holocaust. He began his comments by drawing our attention to two small stones he was holding in his hand. The first was a smooth, polished stone from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington. Engraved on that small stone was one word: remember. The second stone was rough and sharp. It bore no inscription. It could have been any old stone, but it wasn't. A friend of his picked it up near some rusty railroad tracks outside the small town of Izbica in southeast Poland, and he gave it to Mr. Persson. If that stone had a voice, it would have told of the thousands and thousands of people trapped in cattle cars who once rolled over it. It would have spoken of the transit camp a stone's throw away, an enclosed nothingness, death's waiting room for those whose final destination was Sobibor or Belzec or Auschwitz. Both stones, said Prime Minister Persson, were a reminder and an exhortation. Try to see, try to understand, don't forget. I don't have any stones in my hand, but I do have some images I want to share with you. These children were victims of the Nazis and their collaborators. They all perished into the nothingness of the Holocaust. Manfred Böckelmann, a non-Jewish Austrian artist, well known in the German-speaking world, created these images of children. In 2010, Böckelmann asked himself what had happened to all those children born the same year as he, 1943, but who, unlike himself, suffered the terrible fate of the Holocaust. He searched archives for photographs of children murdered by the Germans and their Nazi collaborators. Then, using coarse charcoal, he started creating portraits of these ill-fated, innocent children. For me, like the stones the Prime Minister held in his hand 21 years ago, these children are a reminder of what Raoul Wallenberg wrote: "No obstruction stopped the German machine of destruction. No problem proved insurmountable. The old moral order did not break through anywhere along the line." What did Hilberg mean? I think he meant that those obligations and behaviors in society that define and organize relations among individuals and groups in a community failed to prevent the Holocaust. One of those obligations is neighborliness, the expectation we human beings have that other human beings will help us in our need. During the Holocaust, where were people with the courage to care about these 1.5 million Jewish children and the rest of the Jews of Europe? Where were their neighbors? Why didn't they try to stop the German machine of destruction? What happened to the neighborly exhortation, "Do unto others as you would have them do to you"? For hundreds and hundreds of years, millions and millions of people in Europe were baptized, acculturated, influenced, and educated in Christian churches, schools, and homes. They celebrated the Christmas holidays of Christmas, Easter, and Pentecost. Their parents and grandparents, their teachers and clergy taught them the 10 Commandments, including the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill." And yet, during the Nazi era and the Holocaust, too many people closed their eyes, turned their backs, and ignored what was happening to the Jews of Europe. We human beings are often far from being what should make us proud to be human because of the abuse we inflict on each other and because of our indifference and inaction in the face of such abuse. Elie Wiesel said that the most vital lesson to be drawn from the Holocaust era is that Auschwitz was possible because the enemy of the Jewish people is always the same enemy, indifference. During the Holocaust, not enough people cared. Most spectators chose not to interfere with the killers. Many persons chose to remain neutral. As a result, the killers killed, the victims died, and the world remained world. Let us admit that many of us do not believe that what we do makes any difference in our world. But if we do not think that our actions have consequences for the worst, neither will we be convinced that they will make any difference for the better. Was that why so many people did so little to help the Jews of Europe during their time of extreme need? Because they thought that anything they might do would not matter as the German machine of destruction continued its murderous work? We need to think about such questions, not just on International Holocaust Memorial Day, but every day. And we need to think about whether or not today we are merely spectators to what is happening to millions of people in our world, in Syria and Iraq, in Ethiopia and Yemen, on the US border with Mexico, and on the Mediterranean coast. People in these places are looking for a neighborly response from us and from our governments. Do we have the courage to care about them or about others near at hand and far away? How we answer that question says everything about how we are committed to remembering the Holocaust today and into the future.